Welcome to RSTN, Real Sports Talk Network. I am your host, Kid Bagir, and we got a lot to get to, starting with NBA Friday night recap. It was 12 games. I gave my picks, so we're going to go through them and see where I was right, where I was wrong, and, just see what was really going on with these games and whatnot. We're going to talk about the Cavs being 15-0. And we're also going to look ahead to their big matchup against the Celtics. And we're going to discuss player rankings. And also the standings and whatnot. And just get into it, you know what I mean? So let's go, you know what I mean? So starting off, first off, we had Heat versus Pacers. I did pick the Heat. They played in Indiana. That final score was 124-111. So if you took my advice on that one and just solely bet on that game, you won some money. So with that being said, Jimmy didn't even play, and I thought he was. That was primarily why I was picking them. A lot of teams in the East aren't doing well, like record-wise. But there are just still certain teams that's like, yeah, you know what I mean? And Indiana is one of those teams too, but I just knew the Heat was gonna win. Like I was rolling with the Heat on that. But Bam went off for 30, Hero had 20, and they had Love had 14 and Love had 15 and Highsmith had 14. Rozier had 10, Jovic had 11. And Triple J had 10, you know what I mean? Like, and Robinson had 8, almost 10. So you thinking damn near everybody who played is in double figures, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to do some good things with that, you know what I mean? Halliburton had 18. Like, bruh, you're the star of the team. He's not a superstar. We as a whole use that term very loosely. Whoever's the highest scoring on the team or the highest paid, that's the superstar. That's the superstar. I don't really think it's that many superstars in the league, honestly, by true definition. But by y'all's definition, yeah, he's a superstar. For me, he is a star. He's more than just a star. He's an all-star. Obviously, he's played in the all-star game, so he is an all-star, but he's an all-star with superstar potential. But nonetheless, 18 is not going to get it. 7 of 14, 4 of 9 from 3, 8 assists, yeah, I never really go too much off assists, so to speak, because you can make the pass all day. It's up to your teammate if he's gonna make it or not, or if your teammate passes it. You know what I mean? So it's they don't do the hockey assists. You know what I mean? But it'd be a lot of that going on. So I get that too. But nonetheless, 18 is not gonna get it. You know what I mean? So hey, Siakam only had 14. As the number 2 option, he should definitely have more than that. Turner only had 9. Like, come on, what are y'all doing? Toppin, oh man, I miss Toppin. You know what I mean? I don't know why the Knicks traded him. Him and Cat would be. I'm just leave that alone. Maybe he'll come back in free agency. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Toppin had 21, 3 or 5 from 3. 8 of 10 from the field. So that's good. You can live with that, especially someone coming off your bench. But again, if your superstar player isn't doing what he needs to be doing, and along with your second number 2 option, then what he does is irrelevant, which it was. So that's why they lost. So moving on to game 2, 76ers at Magic. I picked the Magic, even though I knew Pablo wasn't going to be playing. Like I said, majority of the East teams are trash, so it didn't even matter. I don't know what's going on with 76ers. Like, I really don't. PG literally had 13, and he's getting all that money. You can give me a fraction of what he's getting, and I will get you more than 13. Like, I mean, 3 of 9 from 3, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 4-15 from the field. Like, that's not going to get it done. Like, what are we talking about? Embiid, 0 for 5 from 3. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to cut it. You know, I get Maxey is hurt, but Embiid is still the number one option. And he has to do better. He has to score more, knowing that Maxey is out, and he's not doing that. 20 points is not going to cut it. It's just not. I get Orlando's a good team, but Philly, despite the record, is a good team. Like, I mean, let's be for real. You have a legit big three. You know what I mean? So, and Lowry is very capable of scoring, but I know that's not what he do. But he probably should. You know what I mean? Maxey is out. So, hey, there you go with that. But as far as Orlando goes, they did pretty good. You know what I mean? Wagner had 31. The other Wagner had 14. And, Isaac had 11. Suggs had 19. So, and they got a collection from everybody. You know what I mean? Like, only those 4 were in double figures. But, you got a 31. That's pretty good. Then, you got the 19 from, 2 of your starters. Then one of your other starters had 8. 2 away from 10, 2 away from being in double figures. So, you was doing pretty good. And then 2 off your bench had double figures. So, shit, you in the game. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what's going on with the 76ers. They definitely need to get their shit together, whether Maxey's in the lineup or not, because that's not going to cut it. So, thus far, 2 for 2, so to speak, going down the list, or, 2 out of 12, you know what I mean? So, we're going to keep going. So, game number 3 was Pistons at Raptors. I did pick the Pistons. They won 99-95. And just real quick, the score check-in for the Magic 76ers was 98-86. So, Pistons won in Toronto, like I said, 99-95. That was a close game, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the Pistons led all game. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but don't quote me. You know what I mean? I don't know. They had 6 players in double figures, 1 with 8, so they was almost had 7 players in double figures. The high was 20, so, that's not great. But when you have, 5 of the players in double figures, like, that is a collection of, everything, and a collection of, your players, all getting it in, you know what I mean? So you can live with that. You don't necessarily need a, 30-plus performance from anybody when you're getting production from everybody. Everybody's getting involved. Everybody's eating. You know what I mean? Like a night like that where you win, no matter the opponent, it doesn't even matter the opponent, but a night like that where all the starters are in double figures, player off the bench is in double figures, it doesn't even matter who, what's the high or this or that, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's eating. So again, a night like that, you got to be happy. You got to be satisfied, like, because everybody ate, you know what I mean? As far as the Raptors go, their high was 22. RJ Barrett had 22. I'm sorry. Patel, or what did that put? I don't know. What was it? JP. JP, forgive me. Or J. Poe. But he had 25. He had the high. Not really seeing what people see in RJ Barrett. So glad my Knicks got rid of him. I don't rock with Duke players at all. But they had some decent scoring though, and not gonna hold you. But just not enough. You know what I mean? They came up, 6 points short. Well, no, not even 6, 5 points short, because they lost by 4. So they would have scored 5 more points, they would have won, but they didn't. So that is 3 for 3, 3 out of 12. Moving on to game number 4, Hawks versus Wizards. I did pick the Hawks, 129-117. And with that being said, Kuz had 24, Poole had 22, and Sar had 20. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, that's 60 from 3 of your top 5. Carrington has 7. That's not great. BC had 9. 1 from 10 and 3 from 10. You know what I mean? Like, you can get to, we all almost in double figures, and everybody's eating. Like, as I look at the starting 5, I would still say everybody's eating. Carrington went 1 of 4 from the 3. BC went 0 for 1 from the 3. So it's like, if you would have made your threes a little bit, you'd have been double figures. KG had 13, and CK had 16, and JV had 6. You know what I mean? So they got production. You know what I mean? It seems as if shots just wasn't falling, if you will. You know what I mean? As I look at that box score, you know what I mean, for them. But for the Hawks, Daniels had the high with 25. Young had 18. JJ had 18. Capella had 10, and the rookie had 11. Shit. You can't really do nothing with that. You know what I mean? Like, shit, everybody eating. Whole starting 5 eating. And then you get 3 more players off the bench with double figures. Hunter almost had the fucking team high. He was only 3 off, you know what I mean? So, shit, ain't wasn't that much you could do with that, you know what I mean? So, that's 4 for 4 or 4 for 12. Moving on, Cavaliers versus Bulls. Y'all already knew what that was, I don't know why anybody would think that the Bulls were going to beat the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are just playing out of their minds right now. You know what I mean? Like they on a whole nother fucking level. Zach LaVine is your superstar player, and this motherfucker had 8 points. He scored his jersey number. Okay. What are you gonna do with that? Giddy. Diddy. He only had 5, but I don't really expect shit from him. P. Will had 17. MV had 25, and C. White had 29. You know what I mean? So shit, them boys was eating. You know what I mean? They was doing their thing. But Zach didn't come along. He didn't want to play. You know what I mean? So what can you do with that? You didn't really get much production from the bench other than AD. He had 15, and Bulls had 9. You know what I mean? Couple niggas had 6, but you really wasn't getting much there. You know what I mean? So, and it's gonna come down to obviously your star players. You know what I mean? Like, granted, some did score and come along, but the number one didn't. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is you doing with 8 points, my nigga? Like, 0 for 3 from the 3. 4-16 from down. 4-16 from the field. Like, come on, my nigga. You getting paid too much money for that. That shit is wild, bro. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. But as far as the Cavs, Spider had 37. Not playing no games. 7-13 from the 3. 12-23 from the field. Obviously you're going to live with that with 37. Obviously, like, that's a no-brainer. Jared Allen had 24. Darius Garland had 29. And GN had 14. So shit, Okoro didn't even need to score much. He only had 4, but shit, Spider scored for both of them. You know what I mean? Then Karis LeVert had 22 off the bench. So shit, you know what I mean? And this team has, a plethora of players that can be on a team with the star that are like star all-star with the superstar potential, right? So just hear me out. Like, I'm not saying all these niggas are superstars. I'm just saying they have the potential, you know what I mean? But it works, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that or being a prisoner of the moment with comparing them to teams that have done it in winning championships, or at least going to the championship, but just in the sense that we're good enough to start, you know what I'm saying, anywhere else, or we're good enough to lead anywhere else, you know what I mean? But we want to do it together to make it easier, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense that Clay, I think the first time he was up for a new contract, either the first or second time, and he was like, nah, I don't want to go to a team and be the man, like, I want to be here, you know what I mean? Like, he was speaking to that, like, that's what he was saying, like, yeah, I can go to a team, I can lead a team, but why would I win? I'm a part of a collection that can really make shit happen. You know what I mean? So 4 rings later, you see, you know what I mean? But all that's neither here nor there, because, you know, we ain't gonna get into all that. So that's 5 of 5, 5 of 12. So next game up, Nets at Knicks. Obviously, I picked the Knicks. I'm gonna always pick the Knicks, no matter what. I don't care who they're playing. I'm always gonna pick the Knicks. That final was 124 to 122. The Cavaliers smoked the Bulls 144 to 126. So, with that being said, the Nets, Thomas had 43. Like, you couldn't ask for no more from him. 7 to 10 from the 3, 16 to 22 from the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, what more could you ask for? But then you got a joker on your team, literally a joker, literally a clown that's getting paid more than everybody, giving you 4 fucking points. 0 for 0 from the 3. Oh, okay. Fucking 2 of 5 from the floor. Can y'all give me a fraction of what he's getting? I will get you more than 4 points. Come on, man. Everybody else in double figures. Like, come on. Smith 15, Johnson 17, Schroeder 14. Like, come on, man. You can't do shit with Simmons, man. Get him the fuck up out of here, man. Go send his bitch ass to the G League, man. And then you got decent production from the bench. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was in double figures off the bench, but that's okay. Thomas had 43. So they was feeding him. Like, you can clearly see that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who played off the bench had assists except Milton. You can live with that. Thomas had 43. Like, he cooking. Like, give it to him. You know what I mean? So it's cool. But they just came up short, and they only lost by 2. So that shows you, like, they working with something. You know what I mean? They only, like, I guess 2 games behind the Knicks, or like game and a half, so to speak. Even though it's 2 losses in the win-loss column, but I think it doesn't really work like that when you look at it, or whatever. Like, game, half game, all that bullshit, whatever. But anyway, Bridges had 22. Nobi had 25. Sims had 4. Brunson had 37, and Hart had 14. Cat didn't play. Payne had 10 off the bench. So it was a collection. You know what I'm saying? And again, your star had 37. You know what I mean? So Brunson was 3 of 8 from the 3. Don't love that. But 12 and 20 from the field, like, I could fuck with that. So, 3 wasn't falling, but he was getting to the rack, you know what I mean, hitting the 18-footers and all that good stuff. So that's good. You obviously going to live with that, and nonetheless got the win. So that's all that matters. So that's 6 of 6, 6 of 12. Moving on. First loss. Here we go. And it shouldn't have even been a fucking loss. I'm going to always pick against the Lakers. I'm going to always pick against LeBron. So Lakers at Spurs, final score 120 to 115. I actually watched that game, and I turned it on just a little into the first quarter. And when I turned it on, the Spurs was kicking their ass, and I'm like, yeah, because, Lil Bro was talking shit like, you gonna pick against the Lakers? And yes, every fucking time. Fuck the Lakers. But I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't be 7'5" and be getting denied. Like I just can't. You know what I mean? But AD soft ass went off for 40. You know, obviously you're gonna live with that. LeBron only had 15. Reddish had 0. You know, A. Reeve had 19, and DK had 14. So like, clearly you on to something. You know what I mean? Like, when AD soft ass go over 40, you know what I mean? And Russell had 13, Christie had 11. So shit, you good, you cooking. You know what I mean? So they you know what I'm saying, they came through, whatever. Castle had 22, Paul had 11, Barnes had 8. I don't even know why he's a starter. You know what I mean? I really don't. I like, what are you here for? Like, ever since he didn't show up in the second finals for the Warriors, I just been like, okay, why are you still here? Like, why do you still play? Like, I don't get it. Champagne had 10, and Wemby had 28. You know, 4-13 from 3. Don't love that. 12-25 is decent from the field, but it's like, you know what I mean? Did get some production off the bench. KJ had 12. Vessel had 15. So, you know, that's cool. You know what I mean? You can live with that. They just had collapses in that game, and, you know, they'll get better at it, and he'll get better, you know, so. 6 out of 12 with 1 loss. Moving on. Rockets versus Clippers. I did pick the Rockets in that game, 125-104. And as far as the Clippers go, Harden had 21, Dunn had 13, Powell had 8, Zubac had 6, Jones had 2. Got fairly good production off the bench. Had 3 players in double figures off the bench. So, you know, you can live with that. I think that at this point, Harden he's washed, but I don't think anybody's ready to say it yet, for real. If anybody is saying it, I haven't heard it. You know, whatever the case may be, but you know, at this point, I think that's what it is. I think he's washed. But for him to be this age and still leading the team, like, that says a lot about him and his longevity and whatnot. But yeah, you know, so I just think the Clippers, they're not in rebuild mode, so to speak, but that whole Clippers, you know, it didn't work out. And at this point, Kawhi just need to retire. Obviously, I don't think you can get much for Harden if you traded him. I don't know if he wants to be traded, but at this point, you might as well just let it go, because it's not gonna happen. It's over with. But I don't know. Whatever you can salvage from your roster, create a package, maybe get somebody in there to go along with Harden. You know, like, drum up some excitement or something. Give the fans of LA something. Just the Clippers fans, because the Lakers fans are good, I guess. I don't know why they would be, but I mean, you know, you got 17 rings. What can you really complain about versus none? So, But yeah, man, the Rockets were fucking cooking. I'm surprised Jalen Green didn't get in. He had a bad game. You know what I mean? Let's just say that. You know, ever since he had the baby, he been playing like Jordan. But he only had 8, 0-5 from 3, 4-11 from the field. Like, you don't love that. But, you know, JJ had 28, Brooks had 17, Sengun had 16, and Van Vliet had 18. You had 2 niggas off the bench with double figures, so shit, niggas was cooking, you know what I mean? So it allowed him to have a bad game, and they still won, you know what I mean? So if you take his whole 8 points away, they're still gonna win. So, you know, that's a tribute to why they are one of the teams in the West that have a winning record, 9-4. You know what I mean? When you're, you know, star player, number 1 option, can, you know, have a bad game and you still win, that just speaks to the collection of talent that you have on the team. You know what I mean? So, that's that. So that's 7 out of 12. Moving on. Here's another L for me. L number 2. Nuggets at Pelicans. I'm pretty much always going to pick against the Pelicans. I don't fuck with Duke players. They have too many of them. Y'all still waiting for Zion to take off. I don't think that's going to happen. I think y'all are pretty much ready to let the Brandon Ingram take off go. Like, I think y'all know, like, he is what he is, and, you know, that's that. The final score was 101-94. The Nuggets losing to Denver is all the more... The Nuggets losing to the Pelicans is all the more reason why Joker shouldn't have been ranked number 1, especially losing in the playoffs the way he did. He should be, like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. He should be 4 lower, but being that certain teams have 2 stars, he should still be 4th, like, as in team wise, but from you know, well, actually 6, because he wasn't even in the top 4. So yeah, he should have been almost like, you know, like what? Let me see. Okay. Went in the Final Four, so he was up to 6. So, like I said, teams have 2 players, most of them anyway. So, he should have been like 9 or 10, somewhere in there. But you know, hey, they gonna ride these foreign players. I don't understand what it is, but you know, I don't know. And I just said all that to say that, but that nigga didn't even play. But regardless, Porter Jr. had 24, Watson had 18, Murray had 16, Braun had 15, Westbrook had 5. So you got no production off the bench. Nobody was in double figures. Aaron Gordon didn't play either. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they both weren't playing. That's why I did pick them. So that's that. You know, they're a good team though. You know what I mean? Because they didn't lose by much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Excuse me. You know what I mean? So obviously, if Aaron Gordon and Joker played, or just one of them would have played, I'm pretty sure they would have won. Solely because Zion didn't even play. But Pelicans had Ingram had 29, Murphy had 17, Boston had 19. So niggas was getting busy for the Pelicans, you know what I'm saying? I'll give them that. But you know, as far as like deep playoff runs and championships, the Pelicans can hang it up. You know, like they can beat a wounded team, so to speak. They can beat a wounded warrior, so to speak. So I'm still 7 for 12, 2 losses. Next up, Suns at Thunder. I did pick the Thunder. And Thunder, what else is new? Katie didn't play. Bill didn't play. Booker only had 12, didn't take no threes. 2 of 10 from the field with 34 minutes. The fuck is he doing? I don't know what that's about, but that for surely ain't gonna cut it. J.O. was the only other nigga in double figures from the starters, and O'Malley had 11, you know what I mean? Morris had 9, but you know, and Dunn had 9, but shit, that ain't gonna cut it, man. That ain't gonna cut it. But Shaw had 28, Dort had 15, Joe had 11, Williams had 14, a couple niggas with 7 and 8 off the bench. So niggas was getting busy. Niggas was coming with Shaw, but Shaw led them. And that's the shit I be talking about. Like, Shaw is missing 2 players. You know what I'm saying? And he like, okay, don't worry about it. Let's go. Don't worry about it. Let's go. You know what I mean? So that's 8 of 12. Next game. Actually, I done miscounted, but nonetheless, we'll get. No. I'm still 8 of 12. So next up was the final score for the Thunder Suns was 99-83. Next up, Grizzlies at Warriors. I did pick the Warriors. They won 123-118. That was a close one. Which I knew it would be. They always play each other pretty close. That is starting to turn into a fan favorite rivalry. Triple J had 32. Wells had 16, and and Bane had 18 off the bench. ZE had 14. Williams, VJ had 9. You know what I mean? So shit, niggas was getting busy for the Grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, if they would have had Ja, the game might have been a little different. I would like to think that, but not necessarily, because if Ja's playing, Triple J might not have that 32. You know what I mean? But obviously, we like to think that, like I said, the game would have went different. Obviously, the game would have went differently had he played. It might not necessarily have it ended in a win, but I would have liked to have thought so. But I knew Ja wasn't playing, so that's why I picked the Warriors. Not that I always pick against the Warriors, but I did like the Warriors. I did like the Warriors to lose if Ja was playing. Curry had 13, didn't have particularly a good game. 3 of 7 from 3, 4 of 9 from the field. Wiggs had 13. TD had 9. Waters had 8. Green had 13. Buddy had 18. Moody had 14. BP had 11. And Kuminga had 8. KA had 8. You know what I'm saying? So they had a collection of niggas getting busy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want. You know what I mean? And that's why they are the number 2 seed and number 1 in the West, because niggas is getting busy. You know what I'm saying? That's just straight up and down. Like, there ain't nothing else you can say. Like, Steph ain't even got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas is getting active. So, I am 9 of 12 coming to the last game for my third L. Timberwolves versus Kings. I did pick the Kings. This was a very good pick for me because they only lost by 4 in overtime. The final score was 130-126 in overtime. But obviously, as a parlay, like, would have been fucked up. But I wouldn't even put 12 teams on a parlay because, like, somebody's gonna fuck it up. The max I would do is like 4 or 5. But nonetheless, Randall had 26, McDaniels had 14, Gobert had 11, Conley had 14, AE had 36. And that's what you like to see from your stars. You know what I'm saying? Again, Anthony Edwards is not a superstar. He is a all-star with superstar potential. He showed and proved that he's not a superstar in the Western Conference Finals last year. We know Randall is not a superstar. I think coming out and, when he got hurt, I think that niggas thought he was gonna have that Blake Griffin, and I was niggas. I thought he was gonna have that Blake Griffin rookie season, you know what I'm saying, impact type shit, but it never happened. I guess maybe he was never the same after the injury. I don't know, but like I said, 26 as the number 2 option, you can't ask for any more than that. 2 of 7 from 3, that's not great, but 8 of 20, that's not great either. But nonetheless, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 26 points. So, hey, you're going to live with that. You had Walker with 10 and Reed with 16. So, again, niggas was getting busy. Niggas was getting active, you know what I mean? So, you can't really ask for much more, you know what I'm saying? As far as the Kings go, shit, Fox dropped 60. You know what I mean? Like 6 of 10 from 3. You're obviously going to live with that. 22 of 35. Like, what more do you want from him? Like, if fucking, KH would have came along just a little bit, this motherfucker was 0 for 3 from the 3. So was Sabonis. Like, I mean, Sabonis did have 23, but it's like if you would have made one of them threes, bruh, like, come on. You know what I mean? Murray had 14. A couple niggas off the bench had almost 10, you know what I mean? So they did good off the bench, you know, whatever. Like, niggas was coming, but for Fox to drop 60 in a loss, like, my goodness. And I wonder if he's just gonna spend his whole career in Sacramento, like, kind of being lost, if that makes sense. Like, lost in the shuffle, like, you drop 60 and nobody talks about it. Solely because you play in Sacramento. Like, that's insanity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where he could really go right now. When I think about it, like, where could he go and, you know, start to get that shine, start to get that spotlight? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, Fox been doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Back when he had the dreads, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, so it's just really unfortunate. You know what I mean? But I'm 9 of 12, which is 3 losses. So, you know, if you did take my advice on some of these games and bet, you won some money. You know what I mean? So if you want some money, shoot your boy some. You know what I mean? If not, it's cool. I'm gonna keep giving my picks. It ain't no big deal. But moving on to the Cavaliers, man. Let's talk about it. Nobody had them here where they are now. Not even Cavaliers fans. They are on a tear. You know what I mean? To say the least, I don't know what the fuck pissed them off, but I'm glad they got pissed off. Like, I love to see this type of shit. You know, obviously, you can never say never, but it's safe to say no team will ever go 82-0, right? There's just too many fucking games. But can they break and or tie 72-10, 73-9? Like, can these niggas really go 74-8? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? You know what I mean? So it's just exciting to see that shit. You know what I mean? I do believe in them. And I am picking them to beat Boston. Now, it's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? But, yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Boston put them out last year. So this game is going to be different because it's going to be like the first time they've seen each other since, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. But nonetheless, yeah. Cleveland going to be ready. And it's going to be a damn good game. This game going to be on one. You know what I mean? And I can't wait. And I'm pushing for the Cavs to get to 16-0. I don't know what the highest record is before a loss. I'm pretty sure Golden State has it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think when they was on that 73-9 run, I know it was up in like the 20s before they got their first loss. Maybe 23, maybe 24, something like that. So I'm definitely excited to see how far they can get before they get a loss. And I'm guessing the Bulls must have got a loss early because, like I said, I know the Warriors got the record, but I don't know what the record is. But we'll figure it out once the game ticks off, because you know everybody gonna be talking about it. So we'll definitely see with that. But so let's get into the standings and shit real quick. And see what's going on over there. So currently, obviously, Cavaliers are number 1, and Spider was ranked 23. So no, Spider is number 1. Okay, and I don't even know why he would be ranked 23 when he was in the top 6. How does he get all the way down to 23? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. And Golden State is number 2. So they had Steph at 4. So Steph is number 2 because he's got he's got the second best record in the league at 10-2. I'm gonna take Shai for number 3 because he's 11-3. So is Boston, but I'm gonna take shot number 3. Jalen and Jason. You can put them 4 and 5, 5, 4. I could care less. But Luka, who was ranked number 3. Dallas just got to the 10th seed. They're 7-7. So if the playoffs were to start today, it's not even a guarantee that they're gonna even get in. So Luka is like all the way at the bottom. I don't care where you rank him, but he's not even in the top 10. He's like 20 or lower. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him 23. I'm gonna give him spider spot. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do with that. So yeah, but it's crazy. The West has all these teams with winning records, and the East has only 4 teams with winning records. That's crazy. I just don't. I've never understood the balance of power between the two conferences. Like, and even with all the trades, with niggas going from the West to the East, it never shifts. It never changes. Like, it never fucking changes. Like, the West is incredibly hard, and I think that's why the East typically gets destroyed, because it's like it was a cakewalk to get here. When you come out the West, like, you know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people always have said the Western Conference Finals was the finals. You know what I'm saying? And when it gets to the finals, nobody cares, because we already know the West is going to sweep them. But anyway, nonetheless, we definitely looking forward to tomorrow night's game. Cavs at Celtics or Celtics at Cavs. I don't even know where they're playing. I don't really care, but definitely rooting for the Cavs. So we definitely gonna see what it is. And matter of fact, let me just give y'all my my picks for Tuesday. Let's see how many games is on for one. Okay, so it's an okay amount of games. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 games. That's cool. Whatever. So they got Boston at 5.5. Definitely not taking them. Definitely taking the Cavs. I don't even understand why Boston would be a 5.5 when they have 3 losses, but that's nonetheless taking the Cavs. Hornets at Nets. They got the Nets at 2.5. I'm taking the Hornets. The Nuggets at Grizzlies. They got Memphis at 4.5. I'm not sure if Josh playing. Don't really care. I'm taking the Grizzlies. They got the Pelicans at Mavs. They got Dallas at 10.5. Yeah, both teams suck, but I'm gonna take the Pelicans though. Thunder at Spurs. They got the Thunder at 8.5. I'm gonna take the Thunder. Jazz at Lakers. They got the Lakers at 10.5. Obviously, I know the Lakers are going to win, but just for shits and giggles, I'm going to take the Jazz, because you just never know what's going to happen. AD could shit the bed, you know what I mean, essentially do nothing, you know what I mean? So who knows what's going to happen with that. But those are my picks, and we'll see. Like I said, the only game I care about tomorrow is the Cavs and Celtics, so I don't really care about anything. As long as I get that one, I'm good. But, yeah, that's what it is, and I'll be checking in with the recap of that, especially with the Cavs, to see if they continue to 16-0.